It's still got it.
He just started the date with Ron recording stuff where I'm at. I'm seeing like the sitcoms watching different segments.
I wasn't prepared for this, you asked.
Yeah, I got that. Spoiler alert. Listening to that podcast I was listening to about the spoiler free release of the movie. And somebody was like, "Oh yeah, it wasn't as heavy as like when Spider-Man when Ant-Man died." They do it on comments like, "Come on, bro, spoiler." Oh, we found the guy that hasn't seen Spider-Man. The guy. I know a guy.
Well, cheers and welcome to the special Thursday edition of From Behind the Barcast, the podcast for bartending, service industry, drinking in general. I'm Paxton Eugene. We have Clint, what you know about the banana and mayonnaise, Moses over there. And then Sunset Kelly on the ones and twos. Thank you guys for tuning in this week. I don't know if you tuned in a couple of weeks ago, but we had a gentleman on the podcast. His name was Brian West, who is now the mayor-elect of the town that we live in. You're welcome.
You're also welcome. Thank you for the cool koozies, Brian West, Mayor-elect. Mayor-elect of Tybee Island. For these koozies, I have these Monday Night Brewing from somewhere that's full of condensation, from a brewery in North Georgia that did a little collaboration with Run the Jewels and Monday Night Brewing Company.
Ooh.
Sweet.
So it's an Southern India Pale Ale, courtesy of the Beer Label Society's own Wayne M. Not gonna try it. Don't get me over here, bruh.
He can't say the last name to save his life. Yeah, if you're not joined, if you listen to this podcast and you're not joined onto the Facebook group, Beer Label Society, go there. The memes are always amazing, especially when Wayne posts.
I used one this week. So you're also welcome for this cool beer trick for everybody here.
Hopefully it works.
You have two beers unopened. That apparently, this is 2 months I've been waiting to do this. That beers, they're not just designed to stack this way for certain rings, just for spacing and for rings, but it's also designed to stack this way so you can go and open one beer with the other beer. Because how cool is that? Now you can't do it.
But you can't do it with the second.
Well, you need a third beer, I guess. But he only gave me two, so you can have the one that I foamed open. Haha. Perfect. Because hey, it worked. Congratulations, everybody, and me, mostly me. Because if you don't do this just right, it doesn't work. The guy that did it with two Sprite cans was just crushing it, and I was like, damn it.
And these are tall boys. That's a very
12 ounce with a better angle. It would have been perfect.
That's a sweet IPA.
It is. It's got some naturally derived terpenes in there. So if you don't get any marijuana,
those
problems.
Terpenes are very derivative, if you ask me.
Those goddamn terpenes. They're all crossing the road and shit. Speaking of people that need to cross the road and not have a sign to protect them, wild children in restaurants are back again. That's right. Children running rampant in restaurants. Breaking fucking news. Oh, couldn't make it that far. Sorry. So, what happened recently came out a couple of weeks ago on Reddit. Oh, cheers. Thank you, Wayne. There's a North Georgia restaurant called the Toccoa Riverside Restaurant. And they have on their menu something that makes me want to go work there. A $50 fee for poorly behaved children. It's on the menu. If your children act like assholes, you will be charged up to $50 for your children disrupting other people having a good time. They've threatened it a couple times. Apparently, they never actually landed the charge on somebody, and they've pulled it back. But they've been like, the owner said to one family with 11 kids running around, I raised my kids. I'm not going to raise yours. My hero.
Whoa. What? All right, so two questions. Where on the menu is it?
Okay. Will you come over and peek at this bad boy right here? So there's an article on Food and Wine. I like their periodicals, so I use theirs to tell you, but they kind of give you a good synopsis of it. But it's in the section of the menu where it says you'll be charged, for parties 6 or more.
Okay. Yeah.
If you don't pay cash, they charge you the 3.5% credit card fee. Now, before you think that the restaurant is making money on this, that's what the credit card company charges you to use the terminal. I used to work at a restaurant called Garibaldi's, and then that's what they made us pay that. The servers, in the night, you paid 3.5% on credit card charges.
For every swipe?
Yes, because Amex and Discover charge the most, and Visa and MasterCard charge the least. I think it's 2.5 for Visa and MasterCard. Amex is 4, and I think Discover is 5%. So some places that Discover don't take Discover is because of that reason alone. Most places just eat the charge. I don't know how it works all. But anyway, that's on there too. You'll pay for that, but basically,
And then who is the arbiter that decides whether your kids have crossed the line?
it can't be Clint because it's every table.
I was about to
They
say,
breathed near me.
if it was
More
up to
cherries in your soy temple? Get out of here.
If it was up to each individual server, I think that charge would be struck many times.
But people letting their kids run rampant in a restaurant all over like other customers and ruining their time is. I posted this on Facebook a week and a half ago, and I tell you what, nobody really was like, "Oh, that's messed up." Everybody was in defense of it, or 3 people that had been there, including Shot and my stepmom. My dad went there. She's like, "We loved this restaurant. The food was great, and it keeps people mindful of their children more as they should be." It's not a playground.
If anything, it's not necessarily like, "Hey, we're looking for a way to punish you." It's just a way to keep you aware that, like, hey, you are in public with your kids.
Yeah.
This isn't the place to. I mean, they can run around your backyard all day. That's fine.
McDonald's.
Exactly.
Put them in the playhouse.
This is like a nicer restaurant. I think they have like a pretty
Yeah.
well-to-do menu. So it's like, hey man, just don't act like your kids run around. Like maybe it would have happened somewhere I work on Friday, and it's busy. It's the middle of the shift, and there's like a kind of there's pathways to both sides of the restaurant, and there's like a foyer area by some elevators where your kids can go run around like idiots if they want to be assholes. And this Italian family has their 3 kids running around. I'm like, hey, be careful. If your kids fall, there's cobblestones here, and they'll hit their head. It happens all the time. I don't want to hear your kids screaming. I don't want your kid to get a concussion because it's your fault, not the kid's fault. They're not stopping that. The third time, I was a little more terse and was like, hey, guys, could you please keep this area clear? I'm walking through here with other people. I don't want your kids to get ran over. And the mother must have been like, oh, well, you know what'll make this guy real happy? If I make my kid sit on the only entranceway to his section, a little stairwell with 2 steps, and take a picture at 7:45 on a Friday night. And I am walking, I turn with the handfuls of stuff walking, and I go, no. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. I was like, get out of the way. I wasn't even nice about it. And I went in the kitchen and said some things that I made it mean, like, if you don't go get those kids out of the way, I'm going to kick them in the back of the head. And then some girl I worked with goes, maybe you should be kicked in the back of the head. I was like, we'll see who's going to kick who in the back of the head.
You didn't even feign the niceties.
No, and then I had to go to the manager and go, look, I know that I may have been a little hyperbolic there. I'm not going to kick someone's kid in the back of the head. It's not their fault the parents aren't taking care of their children.
But I had to make my point.
I made my point. And the manager got out there and scurried him away to the other foyer.
Because think about a busy restaurant at night, right? The only way you can make your point at all is to be a bit,
Abrasive,
expressive.
or point at the bottom of the menu where there's a handwritten $50 charge at the restaurant I work at now on every menu. It took me hours to do it. They print the menus every few days. It's a pain in the ass. I need to get a stamp. Boom. Kid charges. Oh, my God. No, I couldn't have the stamp, bro. I'll be stamping foreheads.
It'd be like the Keystone Cops at the parade,
Oh, my God, yeah. I couldn't be a Keystone Cop, bro.
You're not having enough fun.
God, I would be the worst Keystone Cop. Keystone Clint over here reporting for duty, just bopping him with the little billy club.
Oh, we got Keystone.
That could be my brand of mayonnaise. Is Keystone mayonnaise? That could be my brand of mayonnaise.
It's the cheapest mayonnaise there is.
Hey, whoa, no. It's not for kids though. For some reason, mayonnaise not for kids. Well, I will leave that alone. But I think it's a good idea. $50 charge.
I think it's a great idea.
But like your job, it's much more acceptable for children to be running around because there's things set up to cater to the children at that restaurant.
Sure, and we don't have a lot of like hallways and alleyways for them.
Everything is just a squeeze.
Everything's just
once the tables are all up, it's a squeeze. And some of your employees are children in many different ways,
Most
mentally,
of them,
socially, economically, unfortunately. So we're here on this Thursday, not Monday, because of one establishment that caused me to have some kid relief, and all of my kids went to the pool multiple times on Monday, thanks to Taco Bell. I went to a Taco Bell in Athens when I left Athens Sunday morning. Well, Sunday at 1. A little slow to get going there. And plan was to go to Dublin and get this sliders from this place called Jack's
Sliders?
Jack's Hamburgers. It's like a hole in the wall. I think I talked about it before. They have little like house-made sliders. You can get 1, 2, or 3 like $50 size burger nuggets on there. They're delicious. I was like, well, we'll just get a snack here.
You've been there before.
A bunch. It's a good. If you take 441 from 16 to Athens, you go through Dublin. You can just go through downtown Dublin. It's the place. I think I mentioned this. I called the restaurant next door one day, the Quiznos, to ask if they were open next door because they couldn't answer the phone, and the lady went out there. The Quiznos is right next door. I literally went to Google Maps and looked what was next door and called that establishment and said, "Hey, could you do me a favor? It's a weird question. Could you walk outside and see if Jack's is open today?"
Call the insurance company next door. Hey, is this?
It was like rainy too, and I was like, "Hey, can you do me a favor?
Could you walk out
there and see if Jack's is open?" I've been calling, but they ain't answered that. I don't think Debbie's in there.
Could you see if the competing restaurant, literally right next door to you,
sliders and sliders and subs, But she walked out there and was like, Nope, they're not open. I'm sorry. I was like, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And had I gone to Jack's and they'd been open, I was going to walk in there and give that lady like $5. Like, hey, you're the real MVP here. Thank you for helping me get these sliders. But instead, Taco Bell at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And guess what was inside Taco Bell? You guessed it. It was a screaming child of an employee that works there.
They don't have a $50 thing on the menu.
No. Cute kid at least. But we get Taco Bell, get 3 things.
How long it had been since your last...
Oh, it'd been I've gone south of the border.
Since you last rung the bell.
Probably last winter. Because Taco Bell seems like a winter sport for me for whatever reason.
That's a Winter Olympic sport.
It's a Winter Olympic sport. Taco Bell. Okay, the real game is, do you get diarrhea from this?
Can you make it the entire drive back before?
The answer to me was no. More on that later. And so I get 3 things. The cheesy gordita crunch. I get the Doritos chalupa thing.
Oh, yeah.
With ground beef. Chicken on the other one. And then I got the Crunch Wrap Supreme with chicken. Every one of these things was the tip top of their performance I've ever had at Taco Bell. Like each one of them was great. It tasted like I went back there and made it maybe a little less chicken, but like it was very well put together, very well toppinged. Everything was spot on to the point where I thanked the employees when I left. Lo and behold,
he told me that. I thought he went back through the drive-through like, hey, I don't want to order anything. I just wanted to tell you guys.
5-star on the Yelp.
9.5 stars. But here's the thing. It would have been a perfect 10 at the moment if the bathroom door would lock. Because it was pristine. And I was like, got something brewing here. I might want to get this out. My cousin's house is about 15 minutes from where I'm at. Do I go back? And I'm like, you know what? I can make it home. I couldn't make it home.
No. I can't believe you trusted yourself that much to make it home. I mean, come on, dude.
So we stop at a Valermo gas station in BFE, Georgia. I think it's the name of the town, bumfuck Egypt, Georgia. And it's like, there's like people hanging outside of cars with music playing with doors open. There's no wipers, like no windshield washing things. My windshield had killed a million bugs. And I was like, this is kind of a sketchy thing. And then they didn't have 93 or 89 octane or 87 octane. I was like, this is sketchy. Credit card thing didn't work. I was like, I have to poop. And I cannot do it at a place like this. So I look 10 miles down the road, Marathon gas station just opened. I'm like, oh, this is where I need to go. And you could actually see the glow of the toilet from outside of the building because it had the private stall with its own sink, trash can, soap dispenser, everything in there. Pristine. It looks like they just cleaned it.
Well, they had just opened, right?
I mean, within I guess the last week. And so, I guess brand new. I mean, it's Sunday.
No, even better. I thought you just meant they had opened that day.
Oh, no. They were just...
Like, why would they open at 1 in the afternoon?
Like none of the buttons were worn off on the button pad. It was so new. And I walk in there, I do a little bit of maintenance, and I take care of business. I was able to do the Columbian Wet Wipe. Those of you who are familiar with the Alabama Wet Wipe, that's when you spit on the TP and do that. You've never heard of the Alabama Wet Wipe? Just spit on the toilet.
North of Columbian.
The Columbian. Well, I
ready.
invented it. It came. Well, I was south of the border, so I thought I would give it homage when I was in this bathroom. I invented the Columbian Wet Wipe, which is when you can reach the sink and put a little bit of sink water on there and get it off.
Reach the sink while still being sort of seated.
Yeah. Like if I had to poop, I could land back on the toilet somehow. I got a little propulsion anyways. And it was, I tell you what, for my first bathroom shit in probably
my stomach
years, it was pretty good. It was pretty goddamn good. I got everything cleaned. Didn't have to go back later and check the garden. Everything was nice.
Once again, that's Marathon gas station.
BFE, Georgia.
BFE, Georgia.
I should have done a Google review while I was in the bathroom. I could have linked it to the Taco Bell also. It's about an hour and a half in this Taco Bell. So if you eat the Taco Bell, the perfect time to shit is at this Marathon.
They have the Run P app for your movies, you know?
This is the Run P app.
From every Taco Bell, they should have a time.
It's on their app. Top rated bathrooms within 50 miles of this Taco Bell.
Well, it just being open, that's like waking up at a music festival to the sound of the porta potty truck coming through.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that.
So the porta potty truck
and the hippies just go running.
Oh, you wake up, you're like, oh.
You see one of your ne'er-do-well friends, you push him down. You're like, not you. I can't go after you.
If you're gonna go at a festival, first
that's when you go, baby. Yeah. You go ahead and wake up.
Another reason I don't go to festivals. I mean, I guess I'd rather shit in a bucket. But the reason I was in this bathroom was because I went to watch the University of Georgia beat the University of Missouri in a close game.
Who I didn't know was ranked that high, Missouri.
Yes, they were 12, we were 2. They dropped to 14. They won by 9 points. It was a good game. It was sweltering. as the only man there in a black Carson Beck jersey, or any Carson Beck jersey, which I was pretty proud of. We're sitting in the 103 seats, which is right next to the Missouri section, which they purposely put the visiting section in the sun to, why not?
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, cook them. But however, I'm cooking in this black shirt. My friend's like, just take it off. I'm like, no. But every time I sat down, my belt was so hot, it would burn my belly as it kind of folded up
your
on me.
belt buckle?
My belt buckle, but the whole belt is black too. Like it was. But the nice thing about that is, if you're drinking and watching a football game, you don't really have to go pee during the whole entire first half. But I scooted out of there, got Chick-fil-A within 2 minutes. Good stuff. I'm going to harken back to Taco Bell real quick. I couldn't figure out why that 1.5 hour later poop burned. Because I just had the Taco Bell.
Yeah, there's no way, yeah.
But I go back in time for 36 hours. I even asked the guy I was traveling with, to shout to Chris Omer. I said, hey, I didn't have anything spicy, right? I mean, I had 2 Chick-fil-A sandwiches yesterday with no spicy sauce. I had Baldino sub and a protein shake for breakfast. 0 spicy things, which means the Taco Bell sauce travels faster than most other things.
So you think it has an express ticket on the...
If you use 3 of them per item, which is what I do, then yes.
Fire sauce?
I go 2 fires, 1 hot.
I'm just going with bladder overload here.
He's got a system for every goddamn thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's like, I have my Doritos Locos Taco. That will be 2 fire sauces and 1 hot, please.
I didn't have my Doritos Locos Wet Wipes, though.
All you want is the Cool Ranch Doritos Wet Wipes. You don't want the volcano one. You don't want the nacho cheese one.
I didn't want to put the fire sauce in it. The fire sauce wet wipe wasn't going to go down.
That's why they make Cool Ranch Wet Wipes. Sponsor of the show.
Yes, from here. Keystone and Clint's Cool Ranch Wet Wipes. So I talked to V about that, and V was like, look, I eat Taco Bell and have no problems with it. And I was like, I don't know, maybe it's the amount of sauce he uses. I don't ever use any sauce. He said he never gets stomach problems. So maybe it's just a sauce kicking on.
So that's why you think it had the first class ticket to your outer colon.
And I didn't say this, but it persisted through Monday. So we couldn't. I was like, look, I'm not coming over there today. He's like, why? I was like, well, I'm just going to be honest with you. Taco Bell. That's all you need to say, right? So going to the game, great game. Cooked in the sun first half. Good game, exciting. Carson Beck looked awesome. It did just enough to win the game. Oscar Dell replacing Brock Bowers looked great. Brock, who's going to dress out this week when we play Ole Miss at night at 7 o'clock. Can't wait.
Don't play him. Don't play him yet.
No, but just threaten him. Just put him out there as decoy.
Dress him.
The thing is,
dress him.
With the tightrope surgery he had, Tua came back and played 27 days after having the surgery. Brock will be 26 days on Saturday. It's not. They said he's been running at 19 miles an hour at practice. Jesus Christ. But it's not the running forward, it's the stopping and starting that's really bad for your Achilles thing.
It ain't the fall that kills you, it's the sudden stop of the bottle.
And for all intents and purposes, a tight end has more stopping and going than a quarterback does. The quarterback's just moving around a little. Anyways, it's going to be a fun game. Excuse me. Go Dogs. I had a good time in Athens. Went out late in Athens. A lull between 8:30 and 10. Maybe after the game in like 10, there was barely anybody else. Like, this is lame.
You got to change up.
All the kids went and changed it because this bartender was like, look, give it 30 minutes. And within 30 minutes, I turned around, there was 5 deep at the bar behind me.
Yeah, because when I lived in Athens, as a much younger man, our pregame was like a 4-hour pregame. If the game was at 12:30, we started at 8:30.
I started at 2:30 when I parked my car.
So then you go through the game. So you've been out at it for 6 to 8 hours at that point. You got to go get refreshed.
And you walk in this game, pro tip here, if you go to a Georgia game, they don't care. They don't look at your pockets. They don't go through a metal detector. They just can't take it and go because there's so many people going. And my buddy was like, I don't understand. When you go to a Falcons game, I'm like, yeah, there's a third less people at a pro football game. The stadiums aren't near as large. So when there's 100,000 people versus 60,000 people, or as the Falcons are doing, probably 30,000 people.
Yeah, and then there's the trickling effect too.
Yeah.
People just kind of...
trickle
we'll
in.
We'll get there by the midway through the first quarter, maybe early in the second.
Yeah, but not at college games. You're there. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of pomp and pageantry before the game. So
pageantry.
Lots of pageantry. There's all kinds of fun stuff. But let's see. It would have been really nice this weekend at 3:30 because our sun would have been down. Thank you, daylight savings time.
Well,
so before we get off Georgia,
okay,
I've been to a few out of town trips in the last couple of years, and I get what's called shit from that guy over there. For not bringing him items sometimes for my trips. Like when I went to New York, when I went to a Braves game and got you a $400 magnet calendar of the schedule. So, I have a souvenir cup from the game because I walked around after the game and the Kentucky game I went to and picked up some cups and washed them a couple times.
And I've heard of you doing that.
Inside of said cup is more of a gift for you too.
It's Magic Mine.
3 Magic Mines that I can't take or I'll die.
I've been missing these for so long. Oh my God.
From Caitlin Burns, I've had this for over a month and a half. They
Shut
sold
up.
these wonderful Eat Local Shrimp Go Dog shirts from Bubba Gumbo.
Shout out Bubba Gumbo.
Shirts probably not still available, but hey, I wore this last week, the same shirts, and had it in the bag over here to give to you with the cup as well.
Look at that.
And then,
Kaylin, thank you, darling.
and then to a topic we'll get into right after this. Here's a knee brace, Paxton. Do you want to maybe let them know why you need a knee brace? Besides sucking my dick?
Hey-yo. Wow, this is for a very large man.
Thank you. You know what they say about guys with big knee braces.
Yeah, I have the working man blues a little bit. Picked up a little bit of a day gig here lately, helping some people out doing some flooring. And so I've done laborious jobs before, but I've been pretty soft here the past 8 years not doing things like that. And what I realized was if you're doing any type of flooring, doing your one-legged squats as you bend down and bend back up, you should probably differentiate it between the two legs. So my right knee, right hamstring, right buttock, right ankle feels like I've had an Achilles injury, a hamstring injury.
You need tightrope surgery.
I need the tightrope surgery. I went in today. I was like, yeah, I'll just, I'll work it out. I took yesterday off after the first 8-hour day of doing it. And I went in today. I was like, yeah, man, I was like, I'm going to go home for a second. I have to poop. And I tried to sit on the toilet.
That's always fun.
Hammy blew out. I land hard on it.
Oh, no.
I mean, I was fine, but I was like, man, I am 42.
Did you do any icing the other night like I recommended?
No, I didn't do any.
That's weird.
I didn't do any icing the other night.
Therapy is really helpful. Cold.
Understood. Now that I'm back in the groove.
Not understood.
Not
You didn't do it.
understood. But now that I'm back in the groove, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to do it tomorrow as well.
And icing won't hurt you.
I know it won't hurt.
It won't hurt you. Stretching and icing. I do therapy all the time.
I did the stretching part. I just don't have a convenient way to ice.
A Kroger bag with ice and a towel.
I have
on
those things, but that's not
You have
convenient.
ice? How is that not convenient? You can sit down.
It's not convenient for me.
While you play Street Fighter.
That's true. Or while I play drums. Either one could work.
Or while you do almost anything with your leg extended.
Well, that first really long day of work, when I got home that night, the most unassisted natural sleep you've ever had.
Oh yeah, well you jumped right into the deep end. You went from not doing any labor to 8 hours a day. It's like I haven't worked out in 3 months. You know what I'm gonna do? Sets of 4, but full max out bench press,
one-legged squats.
Yeah,
because that's literally I was doing pistol squats all day.
I lay tile for 2 years.
Yeah,
and bro, it tore my knees up.
So unassisted sleep, like sleeping like a baby until the last stages of the REM sleep. Right before I wake up, I have this dream. I think I probably fell asleep with the TV on as well, which I haven't been doing lately. But since I was, actually tired from an actual day of work, I fell right to sleep. And I had this dream where I was walking down the road with a group of people. A car passes by, swerves not to hit like a dog or a cat or a human or something, and goes into a ravine of water. I look around at my friends. I'm like, who's coming with me to help them? No one comes with me. I run down to help them. The car has already sunk underneath the water, but it's like marshy water, right? I jump in. I start reaching into the back window, and I feel like grass, and I'm looking for a human, but I feel like mud and grass and all this stuff. I feel a human hand. I go to grab its arm. The arm snatches itself away from me, sticks a phone on the top of the car, and then grabs my hand for me to help them out.
What kind of phone was it?
It was like an iPhone 14, it looked like. Whoever I was trying to save took their phone and put it on the top of the car.
It's weird. They always say you don't see your own cell phone in dreams, but you can see somebody else's, I guess.
That's something more subliminal, it seems, maybe.
That's what I'm saying. I was like,
also, how often does their car sink? They would be like, oh, wait, I'll get the phone out first.
Yeah, let me just pop
were you the car maybe in the dream?
Oh, man, was I the phone?
Are you sinking?
Am I the one sinking? So then I woke up directly after, and I was like, what about the people in the front?
Well,
did they get their phones out?
Just their phones made it? It would be great if you were taking the phone and pushing it back in the car. Free phone.
Oh, you're handing me the phone? But that's sort of it's sort of like a commentary on what today's, society is like, which kind of leads to it's the quote of the week. Do you have a quote of the week this week?
I have a thought of the week, an idea of the week. We talk about, I was today years old when I found this out. I wasn't today years old, but I was probably, the last couple of months. I dropped something in my disposal, and like I told you about this, what I used to do is wait for Vinny to come over because he's got skinny hands and he can get his hand in the disposal. If I dropped something in the disposal, I just wouldn't use it for a day or two, especially I knew someone was coming over with smaller hands.
You're really hitting the all on the disposal. I like that.
Yeah, that's a country word for me, disposal.
Disposal.
Disposal. It's one of those words I can't uncountrify. And so, but when no one's going to be there for a few days, you got something that you need to get out of there, like the little small piece that goes on the top of your my Instapot cooker. That's like the steam release thing. That thing is solid. You can't leave it there. So I get my fucking big old hand in there, and I can't get it out. And as it comes out, the disposal ring, that little rubber ring, and the metal ring around it comes out with my hand. I'm like, oh, I broke it. Oh, no, it's meant to do that. I had no idea that thing came out of there.
I've never put my hand far enough to find that out because I have fat sausage hands.
What do you do when you break glass in there all the time? Just cook the glass?
Run water and go.
And just try to shoot it out?
And I catch it.
With chopsticks.
With chopsticks.
I chopsticked it before you could do it. I am faster.
You are Miyagi. I am Daniels.
Glass on, glass off. I teach you about wet wipes and glass catching here. But I clean the inside ring of it, put it back. Like, this is great to know.
So
also, make sure getting your hand in there a little easier.
So I was today years old. I rewatched Back to the Future today. And so it's Doc and Marty, right? I didn't realize that Rick and Morty, the cartoon, was entirely inspired by Back to the Future. Once I realized this, I was like, I was today years old when every episode I've ever seen, I'm like, oh, it's all coming full circle. Of course it's based after them. He's wearing a lab coat.
It's so based after them. He takes him on. He takes it.
Morty's voice cracks all the time.
He's a wily scientist that takes him on weird adventures that he shouldn't be on. He almost fucked his mom. I mean, it's crazy.
Today years old. So so I have a quote of the week, and so I not just discovered it, but this was a paper written a while ago, and it's sort of about like the people of privilege, or he called it the aristocracies, but this is from his time, where the more well-off you are, the more likely you will become immoral because... So the quote is, every human has goals, even if it's just the essentials of food, water, and shelter. And if the simplest of goals require no effort to attain, then those will surely become bored, and then decadent, and then finally immoral. So I read it, and I was like, man, that's way ahead of its time in terms of the way we think today, if we think about like politics or just rich people or people of a certain class, where you're more likely to become immoral because you become bored because certain goals take no effort to attain anymore.
Yeah, you're handed a lot of things. People want to give you things almost, and it makes you. And if you don't have to try for something, you kind of lose not interest in it, but you lose drive sometimes.
And also that can lead to depression and depravity. Yeah, basically.
Yeah. And people find that when they become famous at young ages, it destroys many child actors. Everybody knows those tropes, and then people that are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s when they get rich have a different outlook on it. People like Ron White and what's his name? Rodney Dangerfield didn't get famous till he was like 45 years. He was like selling roofing and stuff. Like people like that, they handle fame a little differently than those that get it at a young age or given fame and an opportunity at a young age.
Well, and means.
Yeah.
Where it's like I don't have to wait for the paycheck to buy groceries this week.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a.
I can get away with rape and robbery and murder,
and they're held to less.
I could run somebody over the car weeks after transitioning to a woman if I win 10 gold medals in the Olympics. Not calling anybody out. Come on, Kelly.
I got nothing.
Wait, do you know that a 10-time? Did he win 10 medals?
Yeah, Well, he won the decathlon a few times, so that's 10 events.
What, Bruce Jenner?
Bruce Jenner. Did you know Bruce Jenner's now a girl, Kelly?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I didn't know. Hey.
I'm a little behind sometimes, but
it's been a couple years. Do you know he killed somebody like a couple weeks after he transitioned?
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn. You're up.
That's what happens when you're
on a Wheaties box when I was a kid.
When you're of privilege.
I almost got hit by a car on Saturday, leaving the game.
Do you want to know?
Oh, who the quote is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Caitlyn Jenner.
Ted Kaczynski. The Unabomber.
Is that from his manifesto?
That's from his manifesto.
I gotta read that again. I gotta read that again.
Read it.
That what you read before you were going to bed?
Dude, read it.
It's riveting stuff.
Dude, read it. It's amazing. It's called the industrial something. Dude,
I felt like the Unabomber in that bathroom at Marathon gas station. Ted Kaczynski.
Yes.
Kaczynski. Let's say his last name right. God. It really moves the quote down a little bit. I was like, this is a long quote. This guy was pretty verbose. And then you say, I was like, oh, he was alone in a cabin for a long time. He had a lot of time to think and write.
Yeah.
And not shave.
He was ahead of his time in 1995.
Yes. I was leaving the speed of car stuff. I was leaving the game. We're still like on campus. And what I'm assuming is an angry Missouri fan does a U-turn in a Hyundai Sonata, pops up on the curb, and I literally have to do a straight football juke move as the car like almost hits my hip. And I like kind of turn around, and there is 10 people walking. There's people everywhere behind me. They're like, damn. And I'm like, yeah. And the guy I'm with is like, huh. I'm like, I get a huh from my friends. You high-fived me here, bro. I almost died. I didn't almost die, but I was got clipped by a car.
Did anyone see this?
Yeah,
Are you
people
not
behind us,
entertained?
Yes.
Are you not entertained?
Cars don't have moves like this.
You're waiting for the ref to throw the flag.
Yeah,
Illegal
exactly.
contact.
Yeah, they definitely threw a flag on that play. What wasn't the best thing Missouri did? They played a good game. Their band played the Loki theme song, which the season finale of that is tonight. But they start playing the theme song, and I'm like, okay, how many dorks are there? I'm looking around and like,
There's one wearing a black jersey.
yeah, I know. I was hype about it. I was like, hey, all right.
You were already close to their side, right?
I mean, we're right by the band. Like
Yeah.
the band's like 2 sections over, so I was like, damn, they're doing a pretty good job of that. I never thought about that being something you would play at a football game.
You know, it's been ubiquitous at every football game I've been to in the past 10 years or listened to on TV.
I know, but longer than that, but yes, I know what you're talking about. The Empire's name.
No.
Jordan's played forever.
White Stripes.
Seven Nation
Oh,
Army.
every game plays that.
Every
That house
game.
music plays that. I was talking about the band, but yeah.
No, the band plays it too.
Yeah, it's that, the Empire theme, the Loki theme song was great. They've played some other Marvel stuff like once or twice, but I was like, that's dope. Like, it's a good band. If you've ever heard the song, I think Kelly's heard the intro to Loki. It's very, like, mysterious and...
Is it low key?
Yes, it is low key. It's very inside itself. We're going to take a break, come back with some Vermentino, and
I don't have
talk
rats
about
in my
Marvels.
house.
Marvels. Some Marvel. A little bit more Marvel stuff. A little quick bit.
Maybe a little bit.
Just a little bit. Big
Ted
titties.
Kaczynski.
You know what I said? You said Kaczynski? Big titties. Big Titty Kaczynski. I mean, there's definitely been a girl from Wisconsin whose last name was Kaczynski who they call Big Titty Kaczynski.
Hey guys, Paxton here. I hope you're enjoying the show. And if you are, there's a few simple things that you can do that will really help us out. Number one, whether you listen on Spotify, Apple, Google, or wherever, you can drop us a rating and a review if you haven't already. Positive or negative, we'd love to hear from you. And the more ratings and reviews that we receive, the more we'll be put in front of new audiences. Also, if you listen on Spotify, you can easily share episodes to your Instagram stories. If you watch us on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. You might not be. And finally, why not shoot us an email with any service industry or just general stories that you'd like us to share? We always love hearing from you, and we love using your stuff. The email is FromBehindTheBarcast@gmail.com. Can't wait to hear from you, and enjoy the second half of the show. And welcome back to From Behind the Barcast. Special late edition. We're recording on a Thursday night.
Yes, we are. And we're drinking. Ooh, the crystal gets the real good cheers. You can tell if it's good crystal.
I don't know if you could hear it over the camera.
Thank you for. God damn, I love Vermentino. So,
Vermicelli. It's nice.
Yes, Vermentino. It's from the Amaraglia region of Toscana, a.k.a. Tuscany, in Italy. They call it Toscana. But it's this is where they make Chianti and Brunello. So it's a pretty... Tuscany's a very popular...
Nice Chianti.
...wine region. And it varies from Vermentino, which is one of the few white wines that gets blended into red wines occasionally. Because it's a very thick wine. It has a little viscosity.
It's thicker than a typical white because I don't like whites.
I knew you would like this wine, though, and you do, don't you?
Yeah,
it's buttery. It's got a little bit of pear on the finish. It's like a Bartlett pear, more so than like a fresh local pear kind of thing. Like it's a little sweeter pear.
You say so.
And it's a well-aged white wine. Vermentino is one of those wines you could age that's white. That's 2016. So this is a 7-year-old wine.
It tastes like a tired 7. Yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, it's an Italian 7. But if you want to, just in case you guys want to know where it's at on the leg of Italy, it's kind of by if the boot goes all the way up to the knee, it's right below the knee. It's in the upper shin area here. But
it's in the modesty area. Like
you can touch the screen. It's a
touchscreen.
It's a touchscreen.
We're learning new things.
Shut the hell up. This is the only thing that's... Yeah, look at that. Yeah, you can finger the screen. But touchscreen's right there. So it's north of the Vatican City, the most important city in the world. But great grape. Love Vermentino. Been drinking it for years. Got introduced to it at Garibaldi's in an Italian restaurant. Garibaldi. Giuseppe Garibaldi.
Does every Italian name end in an I or an O?
Just about.
I guess Firenze is an E.
Or an I or an O sound. You can throw Y's in there, E's in there. Sometimes you can fuck up a U.
Just say an Italian word. As long as you put O on the end, you're fine.
It's so hard not to do the Italian finger motion for whatever reason, which is honestly very close to the horns. To the horn, which on the way back from Athens, I'll get into some stories about my journey to Athens on the Patreon. There's some little teaser gives me to definitely do a Patreon today.
You're getting a Patreon.
You are getting a Patreon here on Thursday. Doesn't matter about anything in life, even the Loki season finale.
You're getting a Patreon.
It's finishing up right now, and I have sent 9 of my friends that might text me anything. I'm not going to see this until later. If you text me about it now, I'm texting you when I go to bed at 2:30 in the morning. But you know who I'm not going to do that to? My buddy Ben, who texted me today to ask about the Marvels movie I went and saw. So the new Marvel movie is called The Marvels, starring Brie Larson, Iman Vellani, and Tiona Parrish. Yeah, it's 3 different characters that all have Vellani. She's an Indian descent. She had a show called Miss Marvel on Disney Plus. It was kind of a teenager show. People hated on it because it was about teenagers. They got to cater to teenagers and Indian people. Get over it, people. Brie Larson, who was the first captain in the original Captain Marvel movie, the first female-led Marvel movie. Great movie. This movie was fantastic tonight. The Marvels, short, fun. People were hating on it before they'd even seen it because they're incel pricks. But a good movie. Enjoyed it. Very, very important post-credit scene that is going to change the entire Marvel Universe. Thank God there's some cool ones happening. Paxton's pussy's drying up over there, but I don't care because somebody out there likes this.
It is so
Ben
dry.
Northrup, my boy Ben, our A1 listener, Ben Northrup,
yes,
who sent me a homemade meme of the Tyrone Bigham scratching the other day. It was like, you got any more of them Patreons? And so the other night, Friday night at work, unshout out to my boss who wouldn't let me leave, even though I was no tables. And it was like, we don't close for around 15 minutes. I haven't cut you. I'm like, I have no tables. I have to get up and go to Athens in the morning. Can I just leave, please? He's like, well, I mean, I'm going to make you stay until 10 till. I'm like, just full power tripping me. So I'm sitting there texting Ben about this. And Ben goes, you know what? Do you want me to call your job? And I said, what would you say? He said, well, I won't I won't be me. I'll be someone else. And I'm using the full quote because it's got a microphone in my nose. Hi, this is Scott Jacobs. Clint is my neighbor, and I smell gas coming from his house. And I'm extremely worried about my 11 Emmys being damaged in an explosion. I need him to come home now. I need him now. I can only transport one of them in my car at a time because of the Gary Busey SAG rule. I'm sure some of you have never heard of it, so time is of the essence. And if you can send him on his way with an order of both steak tartare and a basket of truffle fries, not in the same package, I would really appreciate it. Ben definitely gets.
Dude, that is the deep cut. That is the deepest of cuts.
I'm tearing up about it.
Dude, for a listener to have all the lore that put together.
I mean, to get it all in like
that. That lore all put together. Good grief.
I mean, just... I'm crying like everybody did when Scott Jacobs won his 11 Emmys. I think it was like 8 or 9, but it's just growing, you know. I'm sure in his life it grows too.
And a lot of those were from documentaries, right?
Yeah, sure. The documentary, it's the untold story of the liar named Scott Jacobs.
I was at my buddy's house the other day, and he goes, yeah, I was watching this documentary. I was like, I'm not going to
I don't like when white people over-British things up. Like, we talked about Frasier earlier. And he's like, hey, stop it. Niles is gone. Quit trying to be British somehow. You grew up in New York.
Kelsey Grammer
always churches it up.
Is the most English-sounding non-person from England that I've ever heard.
Some people do that. They try to just make you sound more intelligent. Like Jimmy Carr was on Your Mom's House, and like even when he's being completely vulgar, it just sounds a little bit nicer because he's So
You're a bleeding cunt. It's
yes.
like, oh, yeah.
If you call somebody a cunt in a British accent, it doesn't hit as much.
But if you do.
But if you have 11 Emmys you didn't win, you are definitely.
Oh shit! It's the Karen
Huh?
of the week. It's the Karen
That's quick.
of the week.
Oh, shit.
Never-ending quest to change every time.
Oh, you're going over the headphones.
I'm going over, baby.
I think that's good, though, because then you don't have to
Now
take
it's like
the
a bike
headphones
helmet.
off.
It's a Karen for safety.
You look like Brett from Flight of the Conchords when he made a helmet in the shape of his hair so that it didn't look like he had a helmet on.
Oh, to avoid like being like lame with the helmet on. It's not subtle here, like this wine bucket. We'll get to that in a second here. So,
I mean, that bouffant that's happening right there,
it's so hard to keep stuff. I can't.
but that's the best it's been ever.
I'm so like fidgety though. It's not good because
If
it's
you're
unstable.
on Spotify, open that up and look.
So speaking of Australians, I had a customer the other night, an Australian, and it was him and his two friends. It was a Spanish woman, an Australian, and a Brit, because why not? They walked into a bar at my table. And the guy wanted to pay, the Australian guy wanted to pay the tab. And I hand him the handheld, it says 18, 20, 23% on there. And he's like looking at confused. I said, this is a customary tip. It's 20%, 22 is for outstanding service, 18 is for good but not great. So this is an average tip we get here in this restaurant and in America. And he goes, no, I just want it to say $105. And I was like, the bill's $102.50. So you want to give me $2.50 is what you're saying. He's like, yes. I was like, well, and I just was like, screw it. We get paid by the hour at $2 an hour. And the woman goes, yeah, you got to give him more than that. He goes, no. If he wants to make more than that, he should just work somewhere else. So even Australian pricks are doing, and they know the fucking rules. This guy is like 60 years old. He knows the rules. She goes, no, he doesn't. Give me that thing. And she took the handheld from me. She tipped me 20% and then proceeded to berate him and say, we told you this the other night when we bought dinner. You don't need to do this to prove a point. The guy did a great job. We're going to give him the money he deserves. It's just part of the expense of dining out. And I want to bet, can you actually walk to every table at this restaurant and say that I'll give you the money, the cash that you just tipped me for doing that? And I followed them out and thanked her and gave her a hug in the street because she took away the Darren.
It was a redemption.
It was a redemption. She redeemed Darren. And I was just like, what? Thank you so much. She's like, oh, yeah, I'm happy to do it. I'm like, no, you don't understand what this means to me and to anyone I'm going to tell is that you are going out of your way, which I'll do to correct anybody like in that situation or something, other things, never mind. And I just thank you. Like, it really made my night. This little thing right here helped make my night.
And him being, Australian, whatever. 25 years ago, Australians could come over and maybe be unaware that there's a tipping culture here in the U.S.
Oh, they're a bunch of criminals, yeah.
Of course. I mean, yeah, Australia. Come on.
Yeah.
But now there's no excuse for any person of any age from Europe or anywhere else not knowing
It's in
that.
travel guides. It's and all that stuff.
So,
you had 12 hours flying here to think about it, buddy.
So, just like the North Georgia restaurant who put a $50 surcharge for bad kids.
I mean, shout out to where I used to work. Circa would let us put, regardless of 2, 4, the size of the party.
Yeah.
It said, party 6 or more gratuities added. But we had foreign customers. We could say the service has been included. Circle it, draw arrows to it, whatever. And then that was acceptable. And then if they tried to tip you double, you were supposed to tell them, hey,
it's already been charged, whatever.
Supposed to tell them. I always didn't.
Always didn't.
I mean, like 90% of the time, I was like, you sucked. Because French people in a French restaurant are demanding. And I'm not going to go to France. Well, they make good hamburgers. That's kind of French food. But I'm not going to go to another country and order American cuisine. I don't want to try the barbecue in Italy.
Yeah. I'm going to get the
Korea.
carbonara.
Yeah. Only.
Barbacoa.
Speaking of Italy, real quick on a flashback here. If you're watching online, you can see what I have constructed as a very fancy wine bucket because the wine I left it out a little too long. I want Vermentino should be at about 58 degrees somewhere around there.
Obviously. We all know that.
Or in Celsius, that's like, 18 or some shit. I have no idea. Stupid Celsius with their complete and utter common sense way of telling the temperature.
Yeah, zeros, tens, and 100s. Yeah.
It makes no sense to me anyways. But so what I did here is I didn't just put ice in the bucket. You put water and ice because water conducts heat or temperature. Heat is up or down. It conducts heat. For those of you who don't understand this, it conducts energy So when you like lightning strikes water, it spreads fast because it conducts the energy. So cold is also energy. And so it keeps the wine colder quicker than just straight up ice. If you're ever trying to chill beer, anything, any liquid, especially in a bottle or, I guess you have to use a bottle, you want to use an ice bucket with water in it.
You have a very cold energy the way you're telling this. Right?
You want to put the bucket with some ice in it, and it'll get the wine to be a lot colder.
If you've ever drank beer out of a cooler before, you know that it's best to have water with the ice into the cooler.
And the thing about this too, if you want to get cold faster, you can spin it. They have little machines that do it.
I've seen the machines that spin them. Yeah,
and so in those machines, you can turn it on for sparkling, so it'll just spin the water over the bottle and not the bottle because you don't want to spin the entire bottle or it'll shoot everywhere like it did the first time I opened a bottle of champagne.
The more you know.
Yeah, or if you're going to be in a rap video, do what you want to
do. Or if you want to be in a Lil Wayne commercial where he's got the Samsung whatever, and he's like, give me your highest end champagne. And he starts pouring it over the phone to show that it's waterproof.
Oh, man. Yeah, I love waterproof phones.
Oh, so that cold energy.
No, I'm sorry. I don't know why it brought you down. The Vermentino plus the cold energy.
Well, actually, you didn't know it, but it was the perfect segue.
I did know it. Come on.
Into we've talked about my Darren I ran into last Sunday or so. Mm-hmm. We've talked about energy vampires before. So it's people that are so outwardly downtrodden all the time that they just suck the energy out of the room because
you're on an island.
They're the Debbie Downer, like, hey, it's official. It's finally official. I can't have kids. Okay, I don't even know you. Why are you telling me this? Then there's the energy atomic bomb.
Yes, the energy atomic bomb vampire,
which I just encountered for the first time the other night, or that I was aware of, because this has happened before. So I get to work on Sunday.
Like an over-exuberance is what you're saying.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, outwardly Darren-esque. So I walk up, and the guy is louder than everyone else at the outside bar, which is kind of hard to do because the music is loud and the people are loud.
Mike slamming chairs.
Yeah. Loud. Louder than that.
Weird. Darren's tend to be loud.
Darren's and Karen's seem to kind of be loud sometimes. She goes, my dad was a firefighter, and I'm a firefighter just like him. That's the first thing I heard him say.
Was there a fire?
There was no fire. First thing I heard him say, so I was like, you know what? I've known like military guys and people in certain industries where they don't let loose a lot. So when they do, they don't necessarily understand how to be in public with civilians, So you give them a little more of a break.
Especially like if you're a fireman, which is like a mostly male dominant industry, and you're around just a bunch of dudes all day, you can be a little more boisterous and a little more loud and more crass.
And you're living dangerously.
Not drink a lot of Vermentino in the firehouse.
You're living dangerously a lot of the time. So like you're used to a high energy, high output sort of thing. So I'm like, you know what? I'll give him a break just because, he's in that industry, whatever. So he starts to discover that the kids are throwing, this is right when I get to work, so like 5:30. Kids are throwing ring toss over there, and he sees someone put $1.
That's the ring on the string.
Ring on the string, yeah. And he sees that people are putting dollars up there, so he grabs a 20 out of his wallet and sticks it up there. As he's walking back, he's like, everyone listen and pay attention. I put $20 onto the ring. Like, dude.
And nobody gave him a round of applause.
Exactly.
Was he peacocking for a female, maybe?
That's what I thought. Right?
Okay.
I was like, who is he peacocking for? I start looking around his immediate periphery. I can kind of see one or two people that he might be peacocking towards.
Well, maybe he's so loud, he's like, look, anybody look at these feathers.
It continues on. We have a wedding party going on. And he goes, hey, everyone throw the ring toss. Don't be afraid. I don't want to fuck all of you.
Whoa. So he was peacocking.
I was like, well, that was a Freudian slip, At
6 p.m.?
It's barely 6 at this point, probably. So I'm like, okay, I'm sort of getting annoyed with this guy, but...
How are the other people in the area? They kind of like, everybody kind of ignoring him almost?
Because he was so loud and boisterous for a prolonged period of time, the first 15 minutes of it, I would see heads snap a little bit
The shock, I mean,
in the beginning,
like, ah.
but then they became numb to it. So I was like, all right, obviously this dude's peacocking for someone. Continues
I'm going to
on.
go with the MILF just because of the ring toss and the kids. Maybe he's trying to impress the MILF.
That's what
Hey, I've got $20. You want to screw me?
He ends up probably putting another 40 on there, as people have hit the ring toss, whatever. Comes back.
Is he over there high-fiving the people that get it? And it's mostly his kids, right?
It's mostly kids, and
Bobo didn't push his way to the front of the line. And,
I was waiting on Bobo to come out and take all that money, but he didn't. But every time that someone would ring it, he would just not happen to be paying attention to it while he was yelling at someone else. Time to close out. I'm like, he's like, I've ignored him a little bit because I don't want him to have any more. Like, he doesn't seem like super drunk, but I just don't want to interact with him at all.
You don't want to feed his attention, his energy, his reverse energy vampire bombing.
His atomic bomb energy. I don't want to give it any oxygen.
And Sunday's like a leisurely day,
Typically it is.
And he's not
especially
cheering
this-
for a football game or anything, right?
No,
he's just
not at
being
all.
loud by himself.
He's just
is
being-
he alone?
So he goes to close out. He's like, hey, what do I owe you? I'd only given him one beer, so I was like, $6. He goes, hey, honey, will you pay the tab? This modest woman that had been sitting there the entire time was his wife.
Whoa.
She tips 100%.
Nice.
They walk out the door. None of this time did I notice her like tapping him like, hey, calm down a little bit. I think she was distracting herself with.
She has PTSD probably from him screaming at her all the time. Whether good or bad.
But she went
He's
unnoticed.
probably a car yeller.
She went unnoticed to me. She was literally.
He made her invisible. His outward energy
Yes.
disguised
Because she
her.
was between he and I had to look over her to see him.
And he was so distracting. His feathers.
Her feathers.
Also, I don't want to fuck all of you while she's right there. And all of you means her too. He doesn't want to fuck you either, lady. This is a good joke's on you, buddy. I don't want to. He sounds like the kind of guy. If you're in a car with him and he's driving, he looks at you while he's talking constantly, and you're like, "Hey, I can hear you. We're in the car together." I hate that. Like, don't look at me. Look at the road.
I can still hear you.
There's literally, and this guy especially, I can hear you with the windows rolled down, the top down, going 100. Like, we got you, buddy.
What about cigarettes in the car?
So I meant to talk about this earlier. So okay, I don't smoke in my car. I'll smoke weed in my car occasionally.
That's how
Thanks
we
for bringing
do it
that back,
over here, baby.
Good toke, baby. So I don't usually smoke in my car. I usually smoke unless I'm drinking, sometimes in high stress situations. But as stressful as it can be when people are screaming in my ear. On the way to the movie today, I took a nap before I went, and I am late. To go from my house to the theater is 45 minutes at rush hour, basically, because I was getting there. The movie was at 4:20. I left my house at 3:58. Now, movies have a long credit, especially it's the opening showing of this movie in IMAX. You get a couple more opening
Trailers
next night credits in IMAX, and it's my first time ever.
You're
going
the
to
movie guy.
I'm also the kind of stoned guy. It's the Vermentino, bro. It's getting to me.
That damn vermicelli.
And sober movie trip, by the way. I usually have like a couple drinks in there. Nothing. No booze.
Well, I didn't realize that you were alone.
I was alone.
You're typically not.
First time I've been to a movie alone in a long time. I think I went. I can't remember pre-COVID. I mean, because I just usually find someone to go. Freud didn't seem like he was that interested in it. And Vinny had both his bosses were out of town, so he had to work. And I wasn't going to wait until a later time or another day. I was like, I have no self-control. I can't barely get on Twitter without things get spoiled anyway. So I'm running behind. And I wasn't planning on smoking a cigarette until I got over here probably. And I was like, getting a little stressed. And I get to a point where I'm in traffic at a stoplight pretty much. And I'm like, I'm going to be 2 stoplight runs before I get through. And I go, you know what? I'm going to smoke a cigarette, I think.
Leather seats in the car?
Leather
Fabrics?
seats in the car.
Okay.
Leather seats in the car. I don't know if they make BMWs with cloth seats. But yeah, leather seats in the car. Now, if the top's down,
Cold energy.
I can smoke in the car. But I don't do it very often. I don't want to burn my car. So the cigarette is out of the car 95%
I was going to say,
of the
I'd
time.
be afraid with the top down.
Well, the top down, they're just going out, whatever.
Yeah.
But, I'm like, I'm gonna have me a little cigarette here. And I was like, this is not too bad. Like, I guess sometimes over like a 4-hour drive, I've only stopped once. Maybe I'll smoke a cigarette. I get into Savannah, I'll top down when I get downtown and kind of enjoy. I'm going 25 miles an hour. So I'm not going to smoke while I'm going faster, higher risk of something happening with a cigarette, You don't want to burn the car.
Well, and typically, you're just like me. I don't smoke unless I'm drinking.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm driving, most times
Shouldn't be drinking. Yep. But if you're passenger seat, most times when I used to smoke in cars when I was younger, most of the burn problems happen up on the windowsill area for me because you'll hit it trying to go out the window versus cherry falling in car. Kelly,
On the open road, the interstate, I'm all about it. But I trust the people in the car that are smoking. Like, they'll get it out the window and it won't end up in the back seat.
Do you let them smoke before you smoke? Ooh. Before you break the seal?
No.
No. You got to break your own seal.
You have to be the own seal breaker.
Yeah, anything that involves stoplights or just pedestrian stuff around town,
no smoking. Yeah.
no smoking.
See, I'm the
But on
opposite.
the
I
open
don't want.
road, Absolutely, I'm fine with it.
Now,
Like
if
highway,
But
interstate.
I'm the first person to break that seal.
And sometimes it'll help you stay awake.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So like that's all bets are up. But like Vinny will beg me when we're driving. He's like, can I smoke on here? I'm like, no. We stop. We can stop.
Waking up in the morning and driving back from an event somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, even if you're not drinking, like cigarettes, just
Absolutely.
there's some sort of comfort.
Unless you've had too much Taco Bell, don't risk it then. See, I like to stop. You know, if I make my trip to Athens, I stopped twice. Stop, walk around for a minute, sometimes have a cigarette, you know? Chug a few beers, go back in the car, drive really fast.
I will smoke in my car on Tybee Road,
I do miss that Tybee Road cigarette.
but not in town.
But then you get,
But if I'm leaving town, I'll literally won't fire up a cigarette until I'm on like 16 or 95, whichever
Yeah.
outward interstate I'm getting on to head to wherever I'm going.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm so situational. I'm so situational with it.
It's purely
And
situational.
and if there's somebody else in the car, my chances of smoking is decreased dramatically because I don't want them to smoke. Also, if you're going to smoke in someone's car, don't be that guy. If one person lights up a cigarette, don't light one up then. Let him finish. One at a time, please. The draft goes right out. One window down, smoke goes right out the window.
It is unforgivable if there's more than two people in the car. One person starts to smoke and the other person.
And it's even more egregious if you're sitting behind the first person smoking. So now you're rolling in the back window, so everything's just coming back in the car.
So that's when the cherry falls in the back of the car.
That's when the
with
cherry
two
falls. But if it's burning the guy in the back seat, lit the second cigarette, hey.
I wouldn't even dream of it. If someone was, or whoever broke the seal, Kelly, if you broke the seal, I'm not firing up until you're
almost done.
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 And then like at least like 10 minutes after.
Some time to ventilate. And smoking in the back is a lot more dangerous than the front because the front you have the slanted window, so you have a little barrier versus the flat window. Welcome to Smoking in Cars.
It's science.
Yeah, I mean, it's
From behind the smokecast.
I mean, it's science.
No,
this is
it
cold
really
energy.
Yeah,
it is. You're
science.
really getting into this cold energy thing, aren't you? Speaking of nice cold energy, shout out to Rob Kisabeth, listener, good friend of ours, Nick Shreves, his wife, Kaylee. Thank you. I was going to call her Kayla. I'm sorry. And the other guy, Doug, they went fishing with. They went to a fishing tournament, the Big Kingfish tournament in South Carolina. Big pot. They won the whole shebang-a-bang. Biggest fish, like 45 pounds, big, massive fucker.
Mackerel?
I think, king mackerel. Yeah, king mackerel. Sure. Who cares? It's a big fish. Yeah, king mackerel. But because he had a whole crap ton of it at the bar last night, was just giving it away. It was in his cooler, because there's only it's not like you don't freeze the fish; it's not fatty enough, so you got to brine it and cook it.
Yeah,
like
obviously,
fish sticks.
we all know that.
But big tournament, biggest fish, third biggest fish, big purse. They won the aggregate and the big fish. He's definitely, if only had a button for this.
Oh, so there's two categories, like
There's
largest fish,
second largest fish,
and then aggregate.
Yeah. And I mean, they crushed it, and he was like in full shock last night and in a great mood. I mean, he was out at the bar when I got off at like 10:30. I went there for like an hour and hung out with him, and he had been up since 5.
Oh, this was literally after the.
This was last night, and he had been up since 5 a.m. and they had fished 2 days in a row. So you were up at 5 a.m. 2 days in a row.
Oh wow.
And so it's a lot. It's in the end of day one, you fish for your bait for the next day. So when you get back, you still have to do stuff, clean the boat, and then it's a whole sandwich. It's a whole lot of sandwich.
It's a lot of sandwich.
But shout out to them for winning that tournament, and I'm just happy with them.
Yeah,
But,
we love those guys.
There are some things we're not happy with that we don't want to necessarily grieve to all of you. Cold energy, as Paxton would say. We want to kind of, it's a treat for those that help support us on the Patreon, at
Yes.
Patreon / From Behind the Barcast. We appreciate it. helps us do things like buy this bottle of Vermentino and this bucket that I put it in. That was $8, I think.
These two White Claws that I have here.
Oh, yes. Oh, ugh.
And the pack of cigarettes that I'm smoking.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yes.
Well, but we're going to turn off these cameras. These lights a little low.
We're going to take the lights down low.
And
turn
say
off
fuck a
these,
lot.
yeah. But we are also going to say thank you guys so much for helping us out and supporting us and listening. Sorry for the tardiness of this episode.
We
But
won't be tardy next Monday or the following Monday when I believe Travis Jodon is going to be on the podcast with us again from the Hot Grits podcast. I'm trying to make that a monthly thing. So got some feedback from a guy in a bar last night. I wish I remember this guy's name. Listens to Travis's podcast. Is friends with Travis. Listens to our podcast also. Because he literally goes, are you that podcast guy? And I was like, I am. And he goes, yeah. I like, have I met you at Huckapoos? And he's like, I think so. And I'm like, sorry. I meet a lot of people sometimes, and I'm drunk when I do it. It's a lot of people at once. It's like you get kind of titrated out over time. I getting a lot of it at one time. But we talked about podcasts. He enjoyed the Travis
you're like,
episode.
you should meet my partner.
Yeah, meet my partner. More on that in the Patreon, though.
If you don't already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's YouTube from Behind the Barcast. Also Instagram, Facebook, and
Put that PO box out there for them too. They want to send us some stuff.
oh yeah, if you want to send us some fun stuff, it's PO Box 191, Tybee Island, Georgia 31328. We love you, and we'll see you next week. Unless you're a patron, we'll see you in a second.
Go ahead. Wait for the group shot there. That semen demon still in our head.